This is some kind of meat grilled on a little barbecue here that she has on her little tricycle. And yeah, very good. There's 1 yuan. And then if you want to kill yourself, you can put the spices on, but no spices for me. Cixi. So I don't know exactly what this is, but it tastes like something that we have, a candy that has a crunchy peanut covering to it. That's what this is like. Very good. Oh, I know. It's kind of like Clark bars, the inside of Clark bar. I actually think it's sesame seeds. Warm and very, very good. Expensive. It's 4 yuan for just this little piece here. Too good. Too good. Okay, about to enter the old summer palace, again completely razed during the 1860s by the Anglo-French alliance as an act of vengeance. Sad. One of the practical values of this incline strategy is that this rock, in particular marble, when it gets smooth, really is smooth, and you find it very, very slippery. This makes it at least manageable. The buildings and the things within the buildings were reputed to be spectacular. It seems in something I read that one of the commanders of the troops, one of the officers, lamented that they were doing that destruction to this old summer palace. It's no surprise when you think about it, and you have to grant the French all that you can for them to capitulate to Hitler and say, just don't destroy Paris, you can have it. Why? What was the point of leaving all this in wreckage? Except that when you're battle hardened and you've learned to hate the enemy in order to defeat them, I guess that's no surprise. Here's an old bridge, partially restored, or on the assumption it didn't get totally smashed down, which I doubt. And here one that has been restored or built from scratch, but is what this first one will emulate if it ever gets restored. Aren't the weeping willows beautiful? Don't they add an incredible dimension hanging over water? Apparently you can take this little putt-putt boat all over the lakes system. You're looking at this map, we're down in the lower left-hand corner, kind of like a third from the left side. And there you can see the system of lakes and ponds all over this palace. Lovely breeze blowing at me, although it's a cool day anyway, but refreshing. You can imagine how this might have been before it was choked by all of these plants. Maybe there were other buildings around. Everything would have been in perfect shape because it was the imperial summer place. Here we're on a raised platform for some reason, covered with potted plants. Maybe it serves as a exhibition center at different times of the year. Here we're approaching a pretty bridge surrounded by those beautiful weeping willows, looking out onto the lake. A lovely little walkway, intimate. Obviously a route for these boats since it's got a mirror so you can see around the corner. But how pretty is this? So Zhanshu Jinglu was built in 1801. opera hall, and there was a throne bed and a shrine. To the back of the hall was a lake and a dock outside the platform. This was the main place for the empress to view Chinese opera, and where Emperor Dao Quang accompanied her for meals. A distant view of one of the beautiful bridges. Well, maybe I can score one of those boats coming back, save myself a walk. It apparently does get very cold here. A distant view of another bridge from the steep inclines of this bridge that we've been looking at. And it is a pretty steep climb. Notice the stairs start off very shallow, maybe 1.5 inches, up to about 4 inches, and 5, 6, 7, and then probably 10. And this last one right there, maybe 12, and then they narrow down again, and then we get to a convexity as we've seen before, and then it goes down the other way. This tree has some kind of fruit on it, as I can tell by what's lying on the ground, although I don't know what the fruit is. I think that's the right version. It almost looks like a tomato. And it squishes up good when it hits like a tomato. But it's not, it's a yellowish thing. More like a icky squash. Another pretty area that I think is undergoing restoration, because I think it's all blocked off where I'm at. I just snuck through the gate. So I think when I get way over to this other side I'm about to pan to, that I can get on one of these boats and come back through this area. Once I find out where I'm supposed to be. I know I'm not supposed to be here. And all this is being torn up to be replaced, no doubt. This is how they remove these cement blocks. Stick them on those little wheelbarrows and off they go. I'm guessing that there used to be buildings over there, and that those big stones may be a part of it, or maybe they're a part of that retaining wall in spots. It's an interesting island stuck right in the middle of this huge pond or lake. You would think that somebody would have had a place there for trysting with concubines and other private experiences.